Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Diablo 4 and we're going to be doing the 5 best suits of armor for the Sorcerer. And for the rest of the video, just to piss off the fanboys that have pointed it out on my channel already, I'm going to refer to the Sorcerer exclusively as mages. So from now on, Sorcerers are called mages. If that bothers you, maybe you should check your priorities, but I am going to keep calling him a mage. So for this mage, we're going to be looking at the 5 best suits of armor for the mage in the game. I'm not going to be talking about any of the microtransaction things that you can buy in the in-game store, because I don't buy microtransactions, totally not my thing. I play games to play them, not to pay extra money in them. And considering you can't even really see the armor unless you're really looking at it in your character screen, I mean, you can kind of see it like this, but, you know, if in combat, it's almost totally obscured, so it annoys me, but it is what it is. But the end moral is, don't buy microtransactions, they ruin gaming. So anyway, this mage is going to be armored out in the 5 coolest suits of armor that I've picked out. It's mostly subjective. I will talk about things that are objective, like weak points or historical design comparisons. If it bothers you that I'm comparing historically accurate armor to fantasy armor in a video game, I don't know what to tell you to help you. I like doing it, and a lot of the people that watch my channel like hearing that. So, as I've said before, if you've got a problem with that, maybe it's more of a you problem than it is a me problem. But feel free to voice all of your displeasure down in the comment section below while we talk about the armor for mages. So let's go into number 5 for the best suits of armor for mages in Diablo 4. So starting us off at number 5 for our best armor for mages, we have the mage's exceptional armor. I'm not even slightly sick of saying mage yet, so if you think it's going to stop, joke's on you. But anyway, we're going to do this in the red variant, and I think it looks excellent. So when we're talking about a mage, we're not talking about someone who has a whole lot of armor on them. That being said, just as someone who enjoys seeing some armor, I have mostly picked elements that have it. Even though, ideally, in this gameplay, you're not going to be going into direct combat, so realism-wise, wearing a full robe would be fine. You know, magic's not real, so blah blah blah. Anyway, that being said, I really like the way this one looks. We've got some rather fancy-looking silk robes, at least fancy until you get down to the bottom where they're all fringed up, which looks alright. And then underneath, we've got some pretty magical-looking armor. So we've got gold and silver design elements mostly on the plate, focused kind of right around. I love how the hip armor on the back bends down just enough to give you a little bit of butt protection. That's always fun. I just want to assume that most of the armor for the mages in Diablo 4 was designed for female characters, you know, just because it looks better on the female model than it does on the male, but that is what it is. The helmet on this one is totally ridiculous, and I love it for that because it plays well into that. We've got basically a tied silk turban with just a ton of really heavy looking steel elements hanging off of it. We've got pretty comprehensive shoulder armor, at least for the top, unfortunately sticking out farther than necessary, which would be excellent for catching any type of downward crushing blow and transferring all of that force right into your shoulder, possibly your collarbone, and breaking a bunch of your bones. So an excellent design there. Remember, if you can design armor, never design it so enemy attacks can glance off of it. Always try to stop those attacks and catch them so that all of the force goes directly into your body. Then, like I said, we have very comprehensive waist armor, so our belly button is well protected, and we have pretty cool oversized gauntlets, which I like, and they have glowy aspects in them, which fits into the whole mage thing. And the same thing can be said for our foot armor, which starts at the knee and goes down to the toes, giving us full plate protection and some more under glowy stuff, which looks excellent for a mage. So that is the exceptional armor, which takes the number 5 spot. Let's move on to number 4. So at number 4, we've got our first example of one that I've kind of mixed and matched to get what we want here. And now, I wouldn't do that normally, but I wanted to make this one with the primal breastplate, which is what we have here, so I'm calling it the Primal Armor, and we're using the orange variant for all of it, just because it looks excellent. I've never found any other primal pieces for the, you know, the gloves, the head, the legs, anything like that, so I don't know if it exists, or if it's just the primal breastplate, but that being said, the suit of armor we have here is the Strider's helmet, or the Strider's hood, so that we get that little headband there, and then we have the primal breastplate, and then the sturdy gloves, sturdy legs, and sturdy boots. So, relatively easy to make. Most of the stuff is armor pieces that you will get early in the game. And I think most people would agree, looks pretty cool together. I genuinely like this one. It's got a very battle mage aesthetic to it, so we've got considerably heavier armor up top, and a little bit of armor on the waist and knees, and then some interesting steel slippers that don't look very comfortable, especially considering our guy is clearly not wearing socks. But we also get this cool feathery cape that I genuinely enjoy. Looks interesting. Kind of looks like wings the way that it's laying there. I like this one. I think it's definitely very fantasy, but what part of a mage isn't fantasy. We've got some little pins on our waist. I don't know what those are, but they're fun. I just imagine him stabbing you in the eye with one of them, because you specifically, the person I'm talking to, is someone who would complain about me calling a character that does magic in a video game a mage. And so I just like to imagine that that's what he would do in response to meeting you. But yeah, I like the suit of armor. I think the arms look like Thor's armor from the MCU, and that's also... So yes, the Primal Armor takes the number 4 spot for our mage list. Let's move on to number 3. So at number 3, we have the Doom Armor, and this time we're keeping it the natural color because I just genuinely enjoy the palette that they went with here for the natural one. This one is also very stereotypical mage, and I love it. It's got some Eastern influence to it that I think oftentimes is overdone, but here it's actually quite enjoyable. Unfortunately, we do have the upswept shoulders, which is something you'll see in a lot of fantasy elements. Again, great for catching kinetic energy blows and making sure that you get all of that force directed right into your bones, but it does look rather cool. That being said, I feel like this would be super uncomfortable to wear. We've got these big heavy shoulder pieces that aren't connected to each other in any way, so they would have to be like just strapped across your back or kind of just hanging off of your shoulders. Having a like substantial gorget in the middle to hold on to them would fix every flaw with that design, but we don't have it. Instead, we have an open silk tunic on our chest offering 0 protection to stab wounds. Same thing goes for most of our legs. We do have pretty comprehensive outer hip protection, and once again we've got some cool looking wrist guards. Not a whole lot as far as practicality goes on this suit of armor, but it does look very cool. Same thing for our helmet. I have no idea how that sticks to our head, but we have a weird upper eye level mask that flares out at the top and just kind of hangs off the front of our face. Again, everything about the suit of armor looks very cool. It's very cool for a mage to dress like this. Makes no practical sense from an armor standpoint, but again, we're doing magic, so I'll allow it. So that is the Doom Armor in the natural color, and that takes the number 3 spot. Let's move on to our runner-up at number 2. So at number 2, our runner-up spot, we have the Rune Armor, and here again, I've had to fill in some blanks because, again, I don't know if they're just really rare, and so I haven't found them yet, or if they don't exist, but I only have 2 pieces of runic armor. I have the torso armor in the runic variant, so the runic chest piece, and then for the feet, I have the runic cleats. So I have 2 pieces that are runic. The rest I just did with the adventurer's armor, so the helmet, gloves, and leg armor are all the adventurer's armor. That being said, I think they look really, really good together, and that's why I did them like this. And I did it all in the brown color because, again, looks really cool. So this is probably the most heavily armored variant out of all of the ones that we have for the mage in this game, and so I really like it naturally just because I like that heavier armored aesthetic. Once again, we have shoulder armor that sticks out too far and doesn't do enough to try and make blows glance off. Instead, it would catch it very effectively. We do have a full helmet, or full-ish helmet this time. It covers all of the head and sides, doesn't really protect the neck all that well, and the front just has some dangly chains hanging down in the front, which, yeah, would probably protect against, like, light slashes, maybe? But not much else. But it does look kind of cool and keeps that whole guarded mystique thing going on, which I quite enjoy. Other than that, we've got some mail hanging down on the upper thighs, which offers better protection than a lot of the mage armor does. And then the rest of the legs are relatively well armored, with knee protection starting well above, like up in the middle of the thigh, and then protecting down to the knee, and then boot armor going most of the way up the shin. So, relatively well done. I like the way this one looks. It's got a lot of design elements to it that I genuinely enjoy. I love the fact that we have full torso protection with plate steel. That looks excellent, and it's kind of fancy looking too, which is cool. I think the shoulder armor is modeled after some sort of a bird, but I can't say for sure. It's really hard for me to tell, but it does look cool, and I think all of this pairs together rather well, and definitely sticks to a very fantasy heavy aesthetic. So if you like that, then this suit of armor is probably a really great one for you. But that's number 2, the Runic Armor. Let's move on to number 1. So finally at number 1, we have the Warlord Armor, and we're using the blue variant for it. Now, this one, I went back and forth between the natural and the blue variant because the natural variant is the same, it's just lighter. So you can see it sticks to a lot of blue, but it's a much lighter blue and has the white accents instead. And I actually like the darker blue a little bit better, so that's why I went with the dark blue, but I could see you going for either one. This one's fun. It definitely speaks to an ice mage type of build, so that's the build that I use, which is one of the reasons I really like this one. So we've got these ice elements coming off the shoulders and the helmet that look very cool, and then like frost down around the hip level. So if you're going for an ice spear build, or ice shard build, which is the one I have going on here, I think this suit of armor roleplay wise fits it very well. It also looks very mystical, very fantasy-esque. We've got a mask on top that just covers the upper eyes, and then like this big metal and ice crown coming off the top, which makes you look very, very tall and threatening. We do have shoulder and chest armor, once again, not connected to each other, so it would really just fall off of you. I mean, like, the back is connected, at least the tunic is, so you could say that if it's clipped onto the back of your tunic, maybe it would kind of hold in place. But realistically, this would just be heavy and uncomfortable to wear. Trust me, as someone who has actually wore various different sets of medieval and ancient armor, if everything isn't strapped on the way that it was supposed to be, it feels very wrong, very awkward, and very hard to balance. So this would not be comfortable to wear. That being said, it does look super cool, and that's why I put it at the #1 spot. So all of its practicality problems and realism flaws aside, you are a mage and you are doing magic, so I can allow it. And because it looks cool, I can double allow it, and that's why it's at #1. So that is all for today's video. That's all 5 of these suits of armor that I really, really like for the mage in Diablo 4. Once again, if it bothers you that I said mage all the way through, thank the people who complained about it when I said it once the last time I made a video about mages in Diablo 4. If you have anything that you disagree with, let me know down in the comment section below. If you have a different suit of armor that you like better than the ones I've put forth here, again, let me know down in the comment section below. In any case, that's all for today. Thanks a ton for watching, and have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.